Hey, welcome back to the show. I've got another video on the Katana MkII head. I thought sooner or later I'll have to dive in and try and find out some Metallica tones for you with the Katana. And I thought we'll just start with Ride the Lightning, as it's got a really unique ambience. It's a whole different feel of the Marshall JCM 800s, and it's got a whole different sonic feel to most of the other albums they've ever done. So again, recording Metallica tones to make it sound the same as the album, you've really got to step it up and do lots of layers and harmonies and just give that massive wall of sound that they're renowned for. But the rhythm tone on its own, unaccompanied, sounds like this. And I thought that's a pretty cool rhythm tone here. It's got loads of ambience going on, just matches that record. And it's quite usable as well as just a tone to jam around with in the room. So I actually used the inbuilt 5150 to get that tone. To me, it was the closest of all the bassline tones. I tried like the clean sound with different distortion pedals or the jackhammer on top to make it a Marshall sounding tone. But the 5150 just had the most natural sounding distortion and amp setup. And I think it's a great foundation tone within this amp, and I think it's one of the highlights for having the amp. I think the 5150 tone and that JC120, the Roland tone in this, they're absolutely top shelf. They're really well done. But just playing a few more riffs for you, I've pre-recorded a few of the other tracks having left, rights, and sometimes just to get those harmonies, I've got left and right harmonies just panned a little bit more closer together. I think it's a cool rhythm tone even on your own when you haven't got that wall and army of guitars behind you. But it's just fun to play the riffs. Such cool riffs too. And that brings us into the solo tone. And again, for this I've used the 5150 and loads of ambience and a bit of delay going on. And this is the tone. And that's a huge 80s guitar tone that's just massive with so much delay. It's over the top, but I think it really has to be just to be heard in that wall of sound that's like the standard Metallica rhythms. So I guess lastly it brings us to some of the clean tones on the album. And for most of the album, a steel string acoustic was used and James used his fingers and things, and I can't replicate that with any of the Tone Studio software. It actually doesn't do an acoustic style guitar. There's an acoustic variant for the amp, but that's so you can plug your acoustic guitar into the amp. It doesn't actually simulate an acoustic guitar. But I found with Call of Ktulu, there's an interesting sort of tone on that intro there, and it's a clean guitar, but it's just got this dirty overtone like it's been played with a dobro or something. But I found it just did that really well. And in that intro, just after the very first little bar that they play, a second guitar comes into play, and it's a little bit cleaner, just with a little bit sweeter sort of tone on top, and that's the last tone here. And that's a really sweet sound that you can just choose between the two. But if you have two different guitars and you're playing that intro together, I think it'll sound really nice. So all the presets for these tones you can download from the links in the description that I've got in the video, or you can go to the Boss Tone Exchange and just look for Lamb Chopper 678. They're all there. On this particular playlist, there's two extra tones in there. There's a rhythm tone and a guitar solo tone you can download as well. But they're just the secondaries, and I just didn't think they were as good as these first two. I just went about it a totally different way to try and create the same sort of tone. But anyway, it's a really fun amp to jump into and dial up some tones. I hope my presets help some of you, and just have a great Christmas, have a safe new year, the whole bit. I'll see you all back next year. We'll have so much more exploring to do with tones, and take care. All the best. Bye.